Hello and welcome to the weekly podcast, the weekly huddle that we're starting now because we're bored in quarantine and want to talk about football. I'm your host, Owen McCullough, with my co-host, Christian Tabor. How you doing, Christian?
I'm good. How about you?
I'm doing all right. Kind of sick of sitting in my house, and I really want football to be back, and I'm kind of just tired of having
Yeah,
nothing to talk about.
same.
We're hoping to be able to have this come out on a weekly basis, so like every Wednesday or Tuesday. It'll fit especially well when the football season rolls around, so that way the last games are played on Monday, first game's on Thursday. It'll get somewhere in between there. We're just looking to talk about random football news. We're both Bills fans, so it's going to be a lot of Bills content too. But I mean, nothing really wrong with that. Got to rep the hometown, you know what I mean?
Of course.
So we'll get started with a little bit of some NFL news that came out this week. So, like I said, as Bills fans, we had to deal with the third New York State first-round pick from 2019 getting arrested, Ned Oliver. That's amazing. I don't know how you get caught for a gun charge in Texas, but he somehow did.
Yeah, I don't know why it baffles me. I'm not too worried about it, but still, like, what are you doing, man?
I don't know. He had a Bills shirt on too, so it's not hard to identify who the hell he is. He's like, yeah, I play for the Bills. I got an open beer in my lap. What about it? Oh, I got a gun too. But I mean, I'm still baffled that he got caught for it, because I know, like in Texas, if you have like a different misdemeanor, if you have like another like an unlicensed gun or whatever hell, I don't remember what someone told me, that if you have one issue with the police and they find a gun, they'll also pursue you on the gun issue, only because you had a different one. So I think that's the only reason why he got popped for the gun, because I always thought Texas was like the yeehaw gun state kind of thing.
No, yeah, but I mean, I'm not all that worried about it. I mean, I'm sure he'll like bounce back and whatever.
Yeah,
But
I
how
mean,
many games is he suspended for? Isn't it like a couple? Do we know yet?
We don't know for sure. I'm pretty sure it's going to be between 2 and 4. I think people are saying
Okay.
it's going to be like 3 is probably going to be the best. Is probably going to be the most likely scenario.
Okay.
So I mean, that means he'll miss the game with the Jets, Dolphins, and Rams, which I mean, those are 3 teams that have terrible ass guards. So he would probably did good. So hopefully Quentin Jefferson, whoever the hell steps in behind him, can do better.
Right.
They're voting on it this week, the week that this show's going to come out, this upcoming Tuesday. They're voting on whether or not they're going to change the onside kick rule. Yesterday, on Thursday, they said that that was gaining steam, that they're going to switch it to a 4th and 15. I think it's from the own 35, like how the AAF did it. They're switching it to like that, from your own 35, just to have, because all new rules with how kickoffs are being played, that it's harder to get conversions from the onside kick.
Right. But yeah, and I haven't seen too much about the new onside kick. So it's 4th and 15.
Oh, you have 4th and 15, so you have one shot to make it. And if you convert it, you get the ball wherever say like you get like 22 yards in the play. You'll get the ball 22 yards down the field. But it's basically like you get the ball back with one long 4th down play to make it.
Oh, okay.
So like when the AAF was around, they did the same thing where it was a 4th and 15, I think from either the 25 or the 35, like your own 35. And then if you converted it, then if you got just the 15 yards to get the first down, you were at your 50. So that way you can just start your another drive from your 50. But I mean, because like they said that the percentage of making a 4th and 10 plus is the same percentage as making an onside kick from back when the onside kick was different. So they're like,
Right.
what's the difference? The only difference is you get to put your best players on the field to try to get a play, instead of having a bunch of special teamers out there, cracking skulls going for a ball.
I mean, you could just have Young Hoku and just be god at onside kicks.
Right. I don't know why they don't just try to kick it as hard as they can in a straight line, like at the fullback or something, just bank it off his skull, and it's like, oh, that's our ball. I'm not an NFL kicker, so I probably a lot harder than I make it sound.
No, yeah. But what happens if they're past the 50 then? Would it like adjust then, or do they just have to go back?
Well, no. So no matter where scenario would be you scored a touchdown. You're down 10 points.
Right.
You score a touchdown, kick the field goal, or kick an extra point.
Mm-hmm.
So you're down by 3. You would then be like, okay, we're going to go for the 4th down conversion onside kick thing, whatever we're going to call it. they would
Oh,
spot
no, I
you.
was mixing up
Yeah.
two things. You're right. You're right.
They would
I
spot you
understand
back
now.
to your own 25 or 35 and say, okay, you have 15 yards, make it in one play.
Right. Okay. I
So
was confusing multiple things. Never mind. I got it now. All
I'm
right. I'm good.
I'm interested by it because it sounds like it's gonna make it different. Like it'll be easier for teams to be able to, like, when it's like in the last 3 minutes of game, if a team's down by like 11 or 13 points where they need 2 touchdowns, it's gonna make the game more interesting because, like, hey, when you line up for an onside kick, it's like basically, oh, the receiving team's not gonna get this, or the
Right.
kicking team's not gonna get this. But now it's like if you're facing the Chiefs and they're down by 12 and there's like a minute and a half left, they score a touchdown, and now you're like, ah, shit, now we gotta stop them on 4th and 15. We need to hope to God we can stop the Chiefs on a 4th and 15 to be able to, win the game. I think it'll make it better in that way.
Yeah, it's definitely interesting. I'd like it, but I don't know how everyone else would necessarily feel about it being a thing.
Yeah, I don't know how all the old the old guys that coach, like the old 60-year-old. What's the guy who used to go for the Giants? Tom Coughlin. Like, how does Tom Coughlin feel about this? Because he's like that old head, wants everything to be original, wants to have concussion protocols be like non-existent. All those old geezers are gonna be like, "Well, I want my onside kicks," and it's like, no, that's stupid. It was a stupid rule to begin with.
He's gonna have to adapt. I don't know.
Yeah.
Let's tell him.
So another thing that I think came out this week was that people are saying that, I only heard this from a couple different people, but that the Quentin Dunbar, who was the other guy? DeAndre Baker.
Mm-hmm.
They're supposedly both have 5 witnesses each to say that they're not guilty for the whole robbery thing, and that they're just now coming out, so they're not going to be found guilty. Which I don't know how true that is. And it was basically the whole scenario was allegedly I heard that it was like they lost $70,000 on a gambling game, and then they went back the next day and played another game, and when they won their money back, the guys didn't want to give it to them, so they basically stole it and then booked it in a Lamborghini, which I don't know why that would be your getaway vehicle. That's very noticeable. So I don't know what the hell is going to happen. I think they're going to be getting off just because they're NFL players, but
Right.
I think they're fabricating a bunch of stuff just to make it seem like it's not the reason.
No, yeah. There's definitely some fabrication. Money's involved. You already know how it goes. The usual.
Right.
But
just to get the normal trifecta of NFL controversy, there has to be a rape in there somewhere.
yeah.
That's just how every sports person is. Like, I don't know, like every sport. Hockey had it too. Like Patrick Kane had issues with that, and then all of a sudden, it poof, went away. It totally wasn't because he slipped her $1 million under the door and was like, "Hey, it'll go away. Don't worry about it."
Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah,
it's good.
You don't got to take our star player away. What are you talking about?
Money talks.
Exactly. So the schedules got released like 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago.
Right.
I can't do time. It's all bleeding into one day at this point. So we have all the primetime games, we knew what the home and away opponents were, but we didn't know the order in which it was. For the Bills schedule, they're pretty balanced. There's only 2 spots where it's either away to away back to back or home to home back to back. Every other time it's away home, away home, away home. And I personally like going through the schedules and like looking to see who wins and who loses. I do like a whole spreadsheet with the whole 16 teams, all 200 and however many games, and just seeing how many games I can predict. But
Right.
for our personal case right now, we're just gonna go through the Bills games just to give our own little, let's say, super early record predictions based off of the fact that we have no idea what we're talking about, and that we don't know anything that's gonna be happening in these camps, or who's gonna be stay, who's gonna cut, who's gonna get hurt first day training camp, like Tyler Croft. That was signed him for $21 million and he breaks his foot. That was great. So we're going to start it off. It's a week 1, home against the Jets. So the same as last year, except now we're home instead of away. Sam Darnold got a couple new pieces on the offensive line. Mostly just 1. Everyone always talk, or 2, 1.5, I'll say, because people are like, oh, he got a new offensive line. I'm like, you got Connor McGovern, who's a pretty good center. And then you got Mekhi Becton, who was a very raw, unproven tackle from Louisville. He's basically the only reason why he got drafted 11 was because he's 6'8", 350 pounds, and can run faster than I can in a 40-yard dash.
Right.
So, I mean, he's pretty raw. So, I mean, I'm not too scared of him, a left tackle, for his first game the whole year. Plus, he is coming in with no, like, if it's going to be a lot of virtual stuff, I'm not afraid of the cohesion between that unit because they're not going to have a lot of time to gel and come together as blockers. So I'm thinking that their offensive, and then, like, what, they got George Fant, the guy who sucked in Seattle. Seattle's offensive line was already terrible. Why all of a sudden they bring in their old right tackle? Oh my God, it's so much better. I don't know. So I think
from one battle line to another. This is upgrade.
Right. I think he'll take the win in the first week just because they're not gonna gel as a unit right away, and I think the trenches are really gonna matter in that game.
Yeah, I think so too. I mean, it almost seems like almost a trend at this point to split with the Jets. Yeah. And I feel like week one, it should almost be guaranteed that we win.
Yeah.
Especially since it's like at home, there should be no excuse.
Right, especially if fans are back. If the fans aren't back, I still think we win, just because, like you said, we always tend to split with the Jets, and we lost at home last year. But I mean, we started our backups and they barely won, so I mean, I'm not too scared.
Yeah. Yeah.
So right now we're both at 1-0. So then week 2 is at the Dolphins. With the whole trend of splitting with the Jets, we also have a trend of either sweeping the Dolphins or getting swept by the Dolphins. It's not like one or the other.
I say sweeping. I say we sweep them.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking too.
Honestly, because, like, I mean, obviously the offense is unproven. Being a rookie quarterback is going to be at the helm, or it's going to be
Fitzmagic.
How it was last year. Which maybe Fitzmagic will come in week 2 and he'll be on his magic. But my bet is that. Well, I don't know which way it's going to go. I feel like either way, though, I feel like the offense is going to be kind of lackluster, at least to start off the season. Maybe as the season progresses, it'll get better. But then the defense, everyone's raving about the defense. Like, everyone's saying, like, oh, Byron Jones is a great corner. Xavier Howard, I can't say the same. Everyone hypes him up, but there's a lot of stats to prove that he's not really that good at all. And
shots fired. Okay.
He's not good. There was one stat, I forget what it was, but he was like, out of all qualifying cornerbacks, he was dead last. I remember. I forget what it was, but it was like a pretty important stat. Like, it wasn't something it wasn't like a Pro Football Focus random stat that they had to come up with.
Like to value some random third corner on the Detroit Lions as the best cornerback in the league or something.
Like cornerbacks with 35 plus snaps that force fumbles on third down. Like, what? Like, what kind of stat is this? Like, no, it's a pretty solid stat, and he was like dead last. I think it was some type of percentage. I think it might have been catch rate allowed, and I think he was in like, he was like 80s or 90s. And to put it in perspective, Stephon Gilmore, Trey White, those guys were at around 50%.
Yeah.
So
you're giving us the W at the Dolphins then?
Yes, I am. Yeah, I am.
I think we get a win as well. They, like you said, they kept talking up their defense. Byron Jones is a good corner. I think Xavier Howard isn't that bad, but like he's not amazing. Like, so if you think about it, he'll have to match up against John Brown, which he did last year anyway, and John Brown still cooked his ass about 3 times. He got that one long touchdown. He got the touchdown in the end zone after the deflection. We thoroughly roasted them last year at Miami. And I think, like, because they're like, oh, we had all these big pieces of defense. Byron Jones, just talked about him. He's going to be faced up against Stephon Diggs. I don't know what I know he's faced Stephon Diggs a couple times. I don't know how that all went down, but I could probably look in the stats, and I guarantee Diggs probably had a decent enough game. Never really had too bad of a game against Dallas. So, I mean, I doubt Byron Jones can come down.
I think I saw something about... There was something about, like, the Dolphins fan page posted, and it was like, when Byron Jones was covering wide receivers and the amount of catches allowed for how many yards. I forget how many games it was or how many years it was, but I remember seeing Stephon Diggs was at 1 catch for 11 yards.
Oh, well,
so
there goes my theory. Regardless, we still have John Brown against Xavier Howard, and then they're like they added Shaq Lawson, which everyone was ranting and raving about that signing for $10 million a year. I'm like, he's not worth $10 million a year. He had 6.5 sacks last year, people. It's not like he had 12. And he was a wrecker, and they had always double team him. No, he cleaned up half his sacks. Same with like Jordan Phillips. Jordan Phillips had like 9.5, but he got half his sacks from the quarterback holding the ball for longer than 6 seconds. He just kind of like I watched the Pittsburgh game again on Sunday Football. Jordan Phillips had 2 sacks that game. One of his sacks, Duck Hodges ran into him. Like, he was on a blocker and he ran into him. The second one, he wasn't touched. Like the blocker like gave him a quick jab, like, "Oh, you pick him up." Oh shit, he didn't pick him up, and he just like ran into him. So it's like his 2 sacks weren't because he like beat out blockers with quick hands or power or anything. It was basically just him walking into them. So like, they had to check Lawson, Kyle Van Noy. Okay, he was decent on the Patriots, but we know how Patriots defender. Jamie Collins left the Patriots to the Browns. Was amazing on the Patriots, sucked ass in the Browns, and then came back.
Yeah, to the Patriots players. Patriots players when they leave Belichick, it's like a switch turns off. They're not the same player. It seems a lot of the time.
I'm not scared of those 3 big. Those were like their 3 big signings, and I'm not too scared of that. So I mean, I think our offense and plus our offense got better too. So their defense may have gotten a little better, but our offense got a lot better with Stephon Diggs and then Zach Moss, and our all line comes together for a second year in a row. I think we can manhandle their defense, even if Fitzmagic pulls off some magic bullshit like he did the game against us last year when they were winning in the first half. By the way, I was at that game. It sucked because the first half we were losing to the Dolphins, and I almost wanted to leave. I was like, this is my birthday present. I went here to watch us kill some Dolphins. They're supposed to be historically bad, and we're losing in the half. And then we came back and won. But I mean, even if he does throw for 400 yards passing and scores like 28 points, I think we can outscore the Dolphins.
No, yeah, 100%.
All right, and then yeah, go ahead.
What I was just gonna say was with our D line, I feel like a lot of those guys aren't gonna thrive as much in other systems because again, Sean McDermott, what he does with his D line, he likes to substitute players in a lot. He likes to move players around, and then with that, I feel like the Cardinals aren't gonna do that for Jordan Phillips. The Dolphins aren't gonna do that for Shaq Lawson. I don't feel like. So I feel like there's gonna be a lot of wear and tear on those guys, as well as just. I just feel like they might not be as productive as they would in our system. That being said, some guys like Jordan Phillips, like I love Jordan Phillips. I hope that he like thrives in Carolina. Not against us, but I hope he thrives in Carolina. Arizona, sorry. I keep on saying Carolina. I'm used to the Bills-Carolina connection, that's why.
Yeah.
But you're right, Arizona. I hope he thrives there. And same with Shaq Lawson, but at the same time, I just feel like it's not going to end up being a good match.
Yeah, I could see that. So we went home. Then we went away. Now we're back home again versus the Rams, who I believe can't remember what their record was last year. It was on like they picked like shit. I don't remember. They traded their pick for Jalen Ramsey, and I think it was like 18, something like that.
Hold on.
I don't remember.
The Rams' record was 9-7.
All right, they were 9-7 against an arguably. I mean, they held their own against Seattle, and I know they lost to San Fran twice. I know they beat Seattle once, and they beat the Cardinals. So I mean, they had a decently tough division. So I mean, they're not terrible, but they lost Todd Gurley. They're coming off a season where all their best defensive players are like 32 and up. Like it's Eric Weddle and Clay Matthews, and is Clay Matthews even still on there? I don't even remember. I know Eric Weddle is. No, Clay
Matthews is on the market because there were talks about people who wanted us to pick up Clay Matthews, and that was a whole thing at some point.
Right. I don't see like Aaron Donald is a beast, but I don't see us having any issues with their defense. They had Todd Gurley is the starting running back, and then they went and were like, okay, you can go. Bye. You can go to Atlanta. I think we're gonna. Last time we faced them was like what when we had Tyrod Taylor at quarterback, and we beat them, which was 2017, 16, somewhere around there, and that was at the Rams where we had to make that trip. Now the Rams got to travel from the West Coast to the East Coast to face us. I just think we're gonna win that one just because of skill talent. Like their wide receiver core is good. Like Robert Woods is good, but I mean, like I don't. No, yeah. I'm not too afraid of the Rams.
I feel like the Rams are going to have a difficult time this season, especially with their division, and then facing guys like us, which I think will win as well. I feel like the Rams. This is going to be a tough season for the Rams. Maybe they'll kick it up a notch, and then they'll pull through against teams like Arizona, Seattle, and San Fran.
They got Miami and the Jets on their schedule too, so those could be games they could probably like try to fine tune their game against.
True. But I mean, we'll see with them. I feel like they're a pretty solid question mark as far as how they'll do this year.
Yeah. So we're both 3-0 at this point. Now we go from home against the Rams to the West Coast in Las Vegas for the Raiders, which every single home game is sold out already. I was surprised to hear that stat. So Bills at Raiders sold out in Las Vegas. How do you have us going?
I feel like we win this one. I feel like we win.
Mm-hmm. You think?
I feel like we get a dub. I just don't see the Raiders as this huge threat that's gonna, especially if we come off strong like we say we will.
Mm-hmm.
Now if we come out like Nathan Peterman level and just suck, then we're not winning this game. But if we come out strong like I think we will, then we should definitely win this game.
Yeah, my biggest fear is that there's always that period in since John McDermott took over as a Bills coach that we always let up like gigantic running games for like 3 straight games, and then we'll lose like 2 of them. Like it was like the Eagles, Dolphins, and I think Redskins last year. They put up big rushing numbers. Now we beat the Dolphins and Redskins. We lost to the Eagles. Josh Jacobs is the only thing that scares me in that team. They got a great center in Rodney Hudson, and they got Josh Jacobs. But there's a reason they brought Marcus Mariota in, because they don't trust Derek Carr. I don't trust their receiving core. Like, they have Henry Ruggs now, but, I mean, I'm not too scared of either of those quarterbacks trying to hit him long. I think that we have to focus on shutting down the run game for them and preventing those deep balls to Ruggs if they can even find, I don't trust Derek Carr. I love Derek Carr. Don't get me wrong, but I don't trust his deep ball as much as, like, if, say, Kansas City had Henry Ruggs, then I'd be like, well, fuck, we're shit out of luck. Well, I mean, now we got to cover Henry Ruggs with a guy who can hit the deep ball every single time. But no, it's not. I'm not too afraid of that. And it's even if Derek Carr's a starter, if Marcus Mariota's a starter, we beat him all the time. We beat him every single time we faced him, I think. Because like we beat him last year. We beat him that one year that they tried to kill Tyrod with a what's it called?
Oh no, yeah,
horse collar.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I'm not afraid of Mariota. Carr, I like, but I'm not afraid of his deep ball. So, I mean, their big offseason acquisition for the offense was Henry Ruggs. They're not going to be afraid of him. Plus, I mean, we have Trey White's not fast per se, but he can stay on him as long as you have like a safety over top kind of thing. So, I think we get a win there too. So, this is our first back-to-back, which is a back-to-back away game. So, now we're at the Titans. We were just talking about dunking on the Titans when they had Mariota. Now they have Ryan Tannehill and Derrick Henry, which I don't remember Derrick Henry's stat line from the last time we played them, but I don't remember him running all over us like he did other teams.
Derrick Henry was solid. He wasn't like bad per se, but we were able to kind of contain him a little bit. He had some good runs. Mm-hmm. He wasn't like bad, but he wasn't like a huge factor that was like would carry his team to a victory against us like he would in against other teams.
I don't remember most of that game. I was over at my girlfriend's house because it was my birthday. It was like the game was on my birthday, and I went over to watch it. But I hadn't eaten anything all day, so I was like lightheaded as all hell, and I like don't remember half that day. I was like gonna pass out until I ate some crackers, and I basically came to in the second half when we were freaking just getting nowhere on offense, and then Duke Williams came in to save us. That was something. I don't trust Tannehill. Like everyone, like they gave him this big contract. And they franchised like Henry. I'd rather give Henry the contract, to be honest. Like I know running backs are dime a dozen, but Tannehill, he had a good year in Miami. I can't remember. It was like maybe it's like second or third year. He had a good year in Miami. Everyone was like, "Oh, Ryan Tannehill," and then he sucked or got hurt. Tannehill had one good year in Tennessee, like not even a good year, half a good year. And his first game he played was against Denver, and he sucked in that game too. So I mean, I think Tannehill is going to be exposed next season. I'm not like. One of my things I like dislike the most about the season is how overhyped the Tannehill offense was. Like I don't think that he's gonna be doing all amazing like everyone says. Oh, Titans to AFC Championship again. No, it's not.
Right.
It's not gonna happen.
I think that Tannehill is. I'm not saying that they're the same talent-wise or quarterback-wise, but I think Tannehill's kind of the same as some people view Garoppolo in terms of he's there and he can, or even in the terms of when we had like Tyrod or however you say his name, where he's good for getting the job done, but he's not. There's not going to be like there's not this huge, like, you're not going to get like a Dak like clutch play or like a Josh Allen clutch play out of him or anything like that. Yeah. He's gonna have his team behind him. He's gonna rely on his team. Now that's not saying that Tannehill and Garoppolo are at the same level, because they're definitely not. Garoppolo's definitely on a lot better quarterback, but just in that regard, I feel like they're similar.
They're both
and
quarterbacks.
I feel like we can expose that.
They're both quarterbacks that could throw for 200 yards and 2 touchdowns, but they're also both quarterbacks that can win a game by completing 4 passes for 20 yards and letting the running backs
exactly
300.
Exactly.
Right,
exactly.
I think now, again, if we go on that slide, starting with the Raiders, and we let up a bunch of rushing yards, like we give up a bunch of rushing yards against the Raiders, and we do it against the Titans, we're going to lose to the Titans. We might lose to the Raiders. But being optimistic right now that we have that stuff figured out, I think we could beat the Titans.
I agree.
So 5-0, heading into Thursday Night Football. So we're on a short week, coming home. Home game Thursday Night Football against the reigning, defending, undisputed Super Bowl champion Chiefs, who are most likely going to be 5-0 coming to this game as well. So we're on a short week. So are they. Now we have to go face probably the best team in the NFL. And if we lose those 2 games to the Raiders and Titans, there's no way we're winning this game. Like, I could see maybe like a super big upset victory, but I wouldn't put my money on it. I'd say we're probably going to lose just because they have so much firepower, and their defense has been improving like consistently. Not like amazingly, but like they've been better on defense recently. I just think that in prime time they're going to show up, and it'll be closer. We're not going to get blown out, but we're not going to win. I'll give us our first L for the season on that one.
No, yeah, I agree. I mean, I don't think primetime is going to be like that big of a deal for our team. But again, it's a short week. This team, they basically had like a cheeseburger as their cap room for the offseason. They didn't do much, really. They're basically the same Super Bowl team that we saw last year, and just a year older, which probably is not going to faze them at all. They're a solid team. I really don't feel like we can get this win. I mean, we could. It would be a very Bills thing to do, to get this win and then lose 2 weeks later to the Patriots. But I feel like we lose this one as well. So we're 5-1.
They also added Clyde Edwards-Helaire in the first round, so now they have another good running back besides Damon Williams and LaShawn McCoy. So that's great. So
well, LaShawn McCoy's off the team, isn't he?
Yeah, is he?
Weren't they saying that the Eagles could pick him up since they're looking for like another running back, aren't they?
They
said they could beat.
That would make sense. I just don't know. I didn't know if he was a free agent or not.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he is. I'm pretty sure that I was seeing things about how the Eagles would be interested in having a LaShawn McCoy reunion. There are a couple teams that are looking for like quarterbacks, like Freeman, Hyde, McCoy. So.
All right. So next, we lose. So we come off. We're 5-1 now. Now we're going to the Jets. So we're coming off a loss and going to the Jets, who we're notoriously split with. So I'm probably going to give us another loss right here just for the fact that we're probably not going to have the best momentum. And we'll probably just come in short week, not play up to how we're supposed to, lose to the Jets. Everyone's going to start calling us fakes and saying it's the Jets division. I'm going to be like, okay, sure, whatever.
No, yeah, I agree. I feel like we're... especially at this point, I think that the Jets are going to figure their stuff out, and they're going to be a more improved team. Definitely not going to like knock the Jets because it's not like Sam Darnold is like a completely incompetent QB. Like the same stuff that like you see Bills and Jets fans going back and forth. Oh, Josh Allen's better, Sam Darnold's better. I mean, their weaknesses make up for their strengths, and they're like almost like at the same level, except Donald's got that more passing ability, and Allen has that running factor. But I feel like they're not like far ahead of each other, far like that apart. Like if you were to rank quarterbacks, I feel like they would be really close to each other. They should only be 1 or 2 spots away from each other. And that being said, they're both good quarterbacks. Yeah. Like Sam Donald's not like a scrub. He makes mistakes, so is Josh Allen. But I'm hoping now the receiving core isn't like super great, but I feel like it's better than what they had.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And as time passes on, they can get that off. If they can get that offense rolling, I don't see why they couldn't win this against us.
Yeah, I mean, I could see us winning this game, but from history and then also coming off the short week loss, I think we're probably set up to not win.
Mm-hmm.
So we're together at 5-2. Now we go week 8 home against the Patriots. So we go from at the Jets back to Buffalo, back to Orchard Park, home game versus the Patriots. I don't know who's gonna be starting quarterback for them. I think it's Jarrett Stidham. If it's not, it might be Brian Hoyer. If they both lay an egg in the first 7 weeks, they might sign a Cam Newton or something to come in or make a trade before this week. So I mean,
I'm pretty sure Patriots fans are all hyping up Stidham to be their guy.
Mm-hmm.
But
I mean, I've heard people that would cover the draft say Stidham was their number 1 quarterback in that draft, and I mean I never saw much in him, but I mean people had to have seen something.
Yeah, I mean I don't buy too much into the hype. I mean maybe he's all right, but I don't see them if they have a positive season, I'll be surprised.
I mean Brady didn't he still doesn't have any offensive weapons around him. He has N'Keal Harry, but that doesn't scream sexy to me. That's just an option, first option. He could be good. He was injured and ineffective most of last year. And Brady, the arguable best quarterback at all time, could not do well in your system last year. I doubt a guy who came in and is I think he's thrown 2 pick sixes. I don't remember. He had a lot. I knew he threw a pick 6 against the Jets when he came in to relieve Brady. I know. I just don't think that someone with that skill level could come in and replicate. Even though Brady didn't have that good of a season last year, I don't think he could come in and replicate even what Brady did last year with the same amount of weapons that he had. I mean, I just think that with us improved on the offensive side of the ball and they lost a lot of defensive pieces, that their offense isn't going to be isn't going to match up with our offense in a way that we could it'll probably be an outgunning. It's either going to be really low scoring our first that one the game last year when it was 13-7.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that it could either be low scoring or it's going to be a high scoring game that both defenses just totally sell out, don't care, or just totally out of it for the game. Whatever reason, it's going to be a close win, but I think we're going to pull out the win in the end.
No, yeah, I agree. I mean their defense is great. It's not it's gotten worse by any means, and I mean never count out Belichick.
Right.
That's something that every Bills fan should know, never to count out Belichick at this point.
Yeah.
But I just don't see enough talent, at least on the offensive side of the ball, to really get anything done, at least against our team. So maybe by week 5 they'll surprise me and they'll be a good team, but I don't know. I don't see it.
I mean, yeah, don't ever count out Bill Belichick. He took former Bills quarterback Matt Castle, who we traded for a 7th round pick, and got an 11-5 win season. So I mean,
you never know.
He's a magician. So then this is our only back-to-back home game. So then week 9 is home against the Seahawks. Now I want to hear what you say is going to happen in that game first before I go on my little tangent.
This is tough. This is a real tough one because the Seahawks are definitely a great team. A lot of people are saying that Russell Wilson is going to be the front runner for MVP already. Of course, they still have their solid offense, good defense. I mean, they're just a good, well-rounded team. It's tough. But I'm gonna say we lose this one.
Yeah, I'm planning on going to this game. I know I might have talked to you about it. I know because we have a friend who's a Seahawks fan that I was gonna go with just to have him go to a game, and I keep talking all this mad trash to him how is he gonna feel that you're gonna go to a Seahawks game against the Bills and you're gonna watch them lose. But I mean, I'm not. I may seem confident, but I'm not in the slightest because Russell Wilson is probably one of the best quarterbacks. No, probably. He is one of the best quarterbacks in the league, and I know their offensive line isn't that hot. And their defense lost Jadeveon Clowney.
That is true.
Potentially, but they are a really good team. But just to shake it up so we don't keep being the same, I'm gonna give us a win. I was on the fence with this. I've been asked a couple different times. Oh, let's go through the schedule and predict the wins and losses. Every time I'm flip flopping on if we beat the Seahawks because it's such a I don't know. I don't know how we're gonna pull that one out, but I think we can. Just to switch it up on us agreeing for everything.
Right. I feel like this is definitely one of the biggest question marks on our schedule as far as whether we will win or not.
Yeah.
I say no, but it could go either way. I mean, they didn't draft another running back in the first like 2 rounds. So
they actually, this was like the first year in like 8 seasons they didn't trade out of their first round pick spot. They actually stuck with where they were and then drafted a linebacker that wasn't supposed to be in the first round. They like to do that. They like to draft people that were supposed to be in the third round in the first round. Like last year it was the one DN that didn't even get any playing time. LJ Collier, and then the year before that was Rashad Penny, and it was like, I don't know why. I mean, they worked. They're still good, so something's working. I think this is really good at drafting the later rounds, but yeah, I think this would be one of the first like big like tests. Like I guess you could say the Titans would be one, the Chiefs are one too, but like the Titans, I'm expecting us to win that game. The Chiefs, I'm expecting us to lose that game just because they're the Chiefs. If we win, then yeah, we'll put everyone on the map. Like hey, we're out. We're going to be going for a deep playoff run, but I don't think that's going to happen. I think the Seahawks are definitely a team that's closer to us in like skill level and just like how good they are overall. That I think it'd be a good matchup to test where we are in the season. So then week 10 we're at the Cardinals, the new and improved DeAndre Hopkins-led Cardinals, which scares me a little bit. But I mean, when we face the Texans, Tre'Davious White had a pretty good game against D-Hop. So I mean, I don't know what to expect from this one.
I mean, I don't know. I feel like because during that Texans game, the first half, Trey White was looking great against him. Forced that fumble. He was looking really good. It's like the second half when it came to crunch time for Deshaun Watson. I feel like DeAndre Hopkins was getting some good plays in there against our defense, and then some against Trey White. And I don't know. That kind of scares me a little bit, but at the same time, I feel like I don't know. I'm not that scared about it. Kyler Murray is decent. I don't think he's gonna like do like super hot against our defense. I think our defense can shut that offense down. I guess it's more so up to our offense to keep with them. But I think it's going to be a low scoring game. I think if we can do that, then we can win. If we can just hold out and just score the points needed, have a good defensive game, I think we could be solid. I think we take the win.
See, I also agree. I think we win, but I think you're wrong that it's not going to be a low-scoring game. It's going to be like 42-37 or something like that, where Kyler Murray, with his no offensive line, is going to be running around because they drafted Isaiah Simmons on defense, right? They didn't really add that much to their offensive line, so he's going to be running around. And DeAndre Hopkins is going to make some freakish catches. They're going to put points on the board. That's what their offense is designed to do. Cliff Kingsbury, Kyler Murray, DeAndre Hopkins. They're going to put points up. My thing is, I think their defense is still a dumpster fire. Like, they have Patrick Peterson, they have Isaiah Simmons, and they have Jordan Phillips now. But they run a 3-4, and so that means Jordan Phillips is either going to have to be an end, a 5-tech end, or a 1-tech nose, which I don't think fits him either way. Like, when he played for us, he was a 3-tech gap shooter, so I think Jordan Phillips isn't really set up to succeed in that defense. I'm not too scared. I mean, Isaiah Simmons is one guy. You can't really just if you can scheme around a single player, where because you're gonna have to match him up on one person, you can just throw it to someone else. Patrick Peterson, he's good. He's getting up there in age. Stephon Diggs will probably get some good space against him. Uses route running stuff. I like their safety, Budda Baker. He was out of Washington, who I'm a personal fan of. I liked watching him in college. He's good. He was like a Pro Bowl special teamer his first season. But I'm not too afraid. I'm not afraid of their defense at all. They're like, I'm just not. And I know their offense is gonna be good. So I think it's gonna be a high scoring affair. And I think we'll be able to pull it out just because our defense may be able to make a couple clutch stops that their defense won't be able to. But yeah, I'll give us the win going into the bye week. So you have us losing to the Chiefs and Jets and Seahawks. So you have us at 6-3. No, my math is wrong. 7-3. I have us at 8-2 going to the bye. coming out of the bye week, we're home against the Chargers. So Tyrod Taylor is coming back potentially.
Win. Win. I don't care. Win.
That's all. That's all you need. All you need
It's Tyrod Taylor. That's all.
All right. Yeah.
I mean, Bosa. I don't. This game doesn't jump out at me. I think it's just a win.
Yeah,
Nothing too special about it.
I think we're gonna handle them easily. I mean, we lost them the last 2 times we played them, but we also have. It's basically the team's fortunes have flipped. I think we're a lot better team. Their defense is pretty good, but I don't think their offense is anything special. Like, if we can just shut down the run game, I don't think Tyrod is gonna be making any of those throws to beat our kind of defense. Like, I watched him for 3 years. I know what he can do. And now he's older. If they play Justin Herbert's going to throw 4 interceptions. It's just what's going to happen. I'll give us a pretty easy win there too. So next is probably my second major test in the season. Is going to be at the 49ers on Monday Night Football. So we have an extra day to prepare. We got to go to Santa Clara, face the defending NFC champions, and try to win a game. I don't know if we can do it. They're really good. But the Super Bowl hangover is a thing. And I think that the 49ers are going to maybe suffer from the Super Bowl hangover. That if between the Chiefs and the Niners, I think they're the ones more susceptible of it, just because Garoppolo didn't really take over many games for them. And they're like teams with like Matt Ryan, the Falcons, when they lost, they fell in the Super Bowl hangover. He didn't really take over much in games for them that season. After that, they were pretty abysmal. Panthers lost the Super Bowl hangover. The Eagles lost the Super Bowl, went 9-7 next year. The only one who didn't really get affected by it was the Patriots. The Rams lost the Super Bowl. They went 9-7, and they're looking at a downward turn because of how cap crunched they are. I just think the 49ers will experience a Super Bowl hangover just because of being a loser. But their strength is the run game, and I'm still iffy on our run defense, so I'm going to give them the win only because they're very solid on defense. They drafted Javon Kinlaw, so they basically swapped Javon Kinlaw for DeForest Buckner, which saved them a fuck ton of money. And now they're going to be just running the ball down our throat, and if we can't stop that, we're not going to beat them.
Yeah, I mean, I love Raheem Mostert as their running back. I think he's really good. He's going to be really good. He's going to improve this year. He's like one of my favorite running backs outside of like Bills running backs going into the season. And that being said, I feel like he can do some damage against our defense. And I think it's still just a strong team overall. And I don't know if we have what it takes, especially. I feel like we might be able to split between Kansas City and San Fran. I think we can split that. Right now I have us losing both of those. We can split it. I don't think we win both. I really doubt that we win both of those primetime games against the Super Bowl contenders.
Yeah, I could see us maybe winning it, but I think that they're too cohesive as a unit, and that the style of game they play is perfect. They match up with us. We both play the same similar style, strong defense, strong run game. Pray God our quarterbacks do something. We might have them beat with the weapons, like wide receiver wise. They lost Emmanuel Sanders, but I think they're gonna pull it out just because they're a battle tested, playoff ready team. Now injuries. This is week 13. Injuries could play a big part in this. If
that is true.
Someone's out key on either team, it's gonna swing it hard. But I think that. Healthy versus healthy, I think the 49ers are going to take it.
I agree.
All right. Rematch of last year, Sunday Night Football, except it's in Buffalo this time, which I guess it didn't really make a difference because there was a lot of Bills fans at the Steelers game last year. But versus the Steelers on Sunday Night Football, I personally have us winning. I don't buy the Big Ben rehabilitation process. I feel like it's more of him just sitting around drinking beer and waiting for his arm to feel a little better. I don't buy that he's aged, 37, 36, around there. That Tommy John, he's going to come back and he's going to light the world on fire. Juju was like this. He's probably a better as a number 2 receiver than he is number 1. And they lost key pieces on the defense. Like they lost Javon Hargrave. Their secondary before Ben Fitzpatrick wasn't that hot, and we were able to pull out the victory even then. And I don't think that, like, I know they're going to have an upgrade at quarterback from the last time we played them, but I think we overall are going to have just a better overall roster than them by the time this rolls around. And I don't trust Big Ben. We just talked about injuries, but it's so hard to look past the fact that Big Ben is so old and so injury riddled in his past few seasons that I don't think that he's going to be able to come back and play full strength against us, especially in Week 14.
No, yeah, I agree. Just looking up something real quick, because if I remember correctly, we played them 2016 before last year was the last time, and then it was 27-20. And that was, because I thought I remembered it being a close game, and I thought I remembered that one of the reasons why they won that game was because of guys like AB and Le'Veon, which they don't have anymore. This is a shell of their former self, so to speak. This is not the same team that Tyrod Taylor almost only lost by a touchdown. So I feel like, I mean, Juju's good. Connor is a great running back. But I don't see them getting this dub. I feel like we can definitely take them. I don't buy too much into the Big Ben hype. I feel like he's going to be good. I don't feel like he's going to be bad by any means. But at the same time, injuries and everything, I don't feel like it's going to be that big of a deal facing them. I think we get the win.
Yeah, and also I just thought of this. If COVID does take away some of the earlier games, it's just going to rile up our fan base even more when the games do come back. And this is Week 14. Which means we should be back. If we're already in the beginning stages of coming back already, we should get back to having games being played by then. So I'm thinking a home Sunday Night Football game for the first time. And we had our first actual Sunday Football game last year in, like, I don't even remember how many years, like 15, something like that. And now we're going to have a home one against the same opponent. I think especially if we are just now getting back to getting games when this game rolls around, it's going to be insane. So I think that just the atmosphere alone is going to swing the game in our favor. Week 15, we're at Denver. Now, I have my predictions written down on this page right now, but I tweaked them a little bit just here and there. I want to hear your opinion first, but I'm going to go against what I wrote down originally.
Okay. Broncos, another team that I think they will improve this year, without a doubt. I think they're going to get better. But at the same time, I feel like they don't excite me too much. I mean, Sutton might have an all right day against Trey White. I feel like Trey might be able to do to him but what he did to Odell last year, just like manhandle him. I feel like that could go either way. But again, this isn't a game that like excites me too much. I think this is one that we can pull out a win for. Don't get me wrong, they're good. They're going to be a good team. Like, they're going to be improved, but I just see us getting the win.
All right. Well, I originally had us getting a win, but this is going to go along in a couple episodes when we do our hot takes edition, where we're going to play a little game.
Oh, great.
We do hot takes. I think my hot take that I genuinely believe is Denver could push or objectively win that division, like be better than the Chiefs next season. So I think in Week 15, they're going to be firing, and I think we're going to lose to Denver in Denver. They're going to have the mile-high advantage. I think if we beat, I'm going to give us the win against Seattle against what I originally predicted. But now I'm thinking Denver, we're probably going to – I don't think we can pull that one. It might be one of those games that we are supposed to win. We go in, Denver's hot, and we just show up flat. I know we faced them last year, but that was like they had Brandon Allen. So, I mean, I think they're going to be a lot better this year.
Okay.
Monday Night Football, Week 16 at the Patriots. So we're coming back home, coming off a W for you. We're going against the Patriots, who we won against in Week 8. How do you think we do against them in Foxborough now that they've gotten 16 weeks to really figure out that offense, to figure out who's quarterbacking their team?
Right. I think either two things are going to happen. Either they're going to come together as a unit and they're going to start being good and proving people wrong, or it's just they're going to start and then the ball's going to keep rolling where it's just not going to come together and everything's just going to stay falling apart, and they're going to need to do some quick fixing if they want to get this team back on track.
Like drafting Trevor Lawrence.
Yeah. maybe they can like the Dolphins tank for Tua. They can tank, but I see us getting this one as well. Again, maybe they'll be surprising the world at this point, but I just don't think that offense. I mean, maybe Edelman will go back to his days roasting the Falcons, but I doubt it. I think we get a win.
Yeah. I misspoke earlier. This is another back-to-back road thing, so we have 2 back-to-back roads and 1 back-to-back home in the season. I think I gave us the win earlier. I think maybe down the stretch they'll start congealing more, and it is in Foxborough. I think that we would come to play to like, okay, this is the game we need to win to get to the division, because if the Patriots do get on a roll in the middle of the season to late season, they start picking up wins and they're close enough, and like within like 2 games or something, we don't want to risk blowing this game. So I think we'll come in like last season, how it was basically this game's for the division. It's in New England, for the division. Play. If you win, you win. If you don't, you have basically a wild card. I think with those stakes, and especially if Stidham's the quarterback and he's unproven and he doesn't have that like clutchness that he has when you get from playing this long in the league, I think we can come in and get the win. I think we can honestly win that game. All right. So week 17 versus Miami. We beat them earlier, week 2. We basically have the division locked up. Now, here's the question is, are we playing for the first seed in the AFC? Probably not. It's probably going to be between the Ravens, Chiefs, something like that, Broncos, how I think. But if we already have the division locked up, and you don't think we're going to get that first seed, because now it's the new playoff picture where now only the first seed gets a bye. Do you rest your starters against Miami week 17?
If we rested them last year against the Jets, I feel like we definitely rest them. Unless we end up having like 12 wins at this point, and then we can get that 13th win if we beat the Dolphins, then we can get the number 1 seed.
Right.
But besides that, I see us resting our starters, and even with our backups, I feel like this could still be a close game, like it was with the Jets last year.
Yeah. This would be like is if the weather holds up. It is home in week 17, which is like late December, early January. It would be a matchup of Alabama versus Georgia, because by this point you'd think Tua, if he's healthy, is going to be playing for Miami. And then if we do start our backups, like I think we will, we'll have Jake Fromm in the quarterback if Matt Barkley doesn't beat him out. So it'll be rookie quarterbacks dueling off. I think we could pull it out, but I also think Miami's a very well-coached team, and Tua is a great quarterback. So I think Miami would win this game if we rested our starters. So I think we would take the division, rest our starters, be like, okay, we're not going to get this first seed, but we're going to go in, just play our backups, take a loss if we need to. It doesn't really matter. If we lose, we're playing a weaker team. We're playing a slightly better team in the wild card. It's like, it's probably like the Steelers or someone like that. So to round it up, all right, I have us losing versus the Chiefs, the Jets, against the 49ers, Denver, and Miami. So I have us going 11-5. You have us losing against the Chiefs, Jets. Oh wait, did I say we lost against Seahawks? I said Chiefs.
You
Jets.
said win.
I said
you said win against the Seahawks. I said loss against the Seahawks.
So hold on. So I have Chiefs loss, Jets loss, 49ers loss, Denver loss, Miami loss. So yeah, 11-5. You have us Chiefs, Jets, Seahawks. 49ers, you have us losing, right?
49ers, I have us losing.
And then that's it. So you have.
That's it.
That's 12-4.
12-4.
So in your scenario, we'd be 12-3 heading into Miami, if you don't give us the loss to Miami. Or no, you didn't have us losing to Miami, right? So we'd be
11. We'd be
11-4. So yeah, either way, I probably would rest our starters. If we were 11-4, I'd probably rest our starters anyway, just because 12-4 probably won't win you the conference. If it does, start the starters. But I mean, if anything, I wouldn't. So I'm pretty sure that would be. I wouldn't have to go through New England's division, but our record and stuff like that. But I think we'd have the division with that prediction. We'd be close. but I think we could get it, especially with 2 wins over New England in the season. Now that is to say if they run with Stidham and don't try to sign or trade for someone big time. But I think we're gonna have a solid season next year.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I think this is a good year for the Bills, and then there's only more of this to come.
Right.
So
yeah. So real quick, we're gonna go back through the home games, and I just want to say, like, I know I want to go to a couple home games this year. I'm just gonna try to pick out some of the games like I want to really go to. Like, I'm definitely going to go to the. I would want to go to the Chiefs game maybe because I know we're probably gonna lose that one. It's a Thursday night game. I have never been to a home prime time. Mm-hmm. But if I had to choose one, I'd probably go to the home Steelers primetime game because that's Sunday Night Football. It's Sunday Night Football. It's Sunday Night Football. It's going to be hard as hell to get a ticket for that, but I would definitely want to go to that one. Home versus Seahawks, I already talked about. I want to go to because my friend's a Seahawks fan. Those would be definitely two games I would want to go see. Potential 50-50 games there. So it should be exciting. I know I'm going to the home game against Miami because that's just a tradition I do every year. But other games, maybe I'd want to go see Tyrod come home, but like there's really Patriots maybe, but like I'm not seeing that like, any games that like jump out to me besides the Sunday football game and Thursday night football game.
Yeah, I think I'm the same. I wanted to go to one that's like near my birthday, but I'm not going all the way out to see the Raiders. That's not happening. So it would either be going to see the LA game or going to see the Chiefs game primetime, and I think we both know which game we'd rather see. Yeah. So I definitely want to go to that. The Seahawks game is definitely one that would be cool to see. And besides that, I don't really go to many Bills games. The most memorable Bills game I've been to was my first one, which was maybe 2015 or 16. We faced the Redskins and we lost. Oh. But
I'm actually undefeated in all the Bills games I've gone to. I've never gone to a losing Bills game.
Go to the Chiefs. Go to the Chiefs game.
The games I went to, if you don't count Week 4 preseason games against the Steelers because it was kids' night, I'm undefeated in the regular season games. I went to the game where we beat the Jags with Sammy Watkins still on the team. Went to the game where we beat Miami back when it was Allen's rookie year, when Jay Cutler was on the team. I went to the game against Miami again this past season. I went to the Bengals game where we all died of heat stroke because it was hot. It was September, but it was like 90 degrees out. We were in the 300s. I was wearing a black jersey, and they ran out of water in the stadium. They had to bring out coolers with ice and tap water in it because people were dying. I had a pounding migraine. But it was great. We won. I had a good time. I thought we were going to choke it away at the last second.
Besides dying, it was great.
It was a great game. Yeah, I'm currently undefeated, so I'm trying to keep this streak going next year. Hopefully, I'm going to go to harder games, obviously. Hopefully, I can have some magic and go to that. I'm also undefeated whenever I go to a Sabres game with just me and my father. Like, no one else, just me and my dad. I'm undefeated at Sabres games. I'm like 7-0. So, I don't know. I have some lucky touch, I guess.
Clearly.
Yeah. I think that's all the time we have for today and all the topics we're going to hit. So, this is going to be posted up on this, hopefully, the Tuesday. I think it's the 25th. Today's what? So,
today's the 22nd.
So, it'll be the 26th. Tuesday the 26th, this is going to be going up. It'll be on YouTube and SoundCloud as of right now, just for this first episode. We're going to try to get something going with Spotify and hopefully Stitcher Podcast. But for now, that's it for us. I don't know if you have any closing words you want to say.
Go Bills.
Go Bills. All right.